especially with them being from out of state, from Texas.
Well, I put a dog yard in. I got a dog.
Throw that empty in the trash.
27 by 50. But that female Airedale, she's doing her best to dig it all up. She got holes in there. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with that dog. She digs and digs, and
How much
I
you
keep
feed?
throwing river rock in the holes, and she digs a new
You're not.
hole.
You gonna eat it?
I figure pretty soon I'll have the whole thing rocked off, but oh
Don't
my
tease him
God.
with it if you're gonna eat it.
Well, I live by the cemetery in Arborville.
Yeah.
So the big guy, the big Airedale, every once in a while I let him out. He walks down the hill and he lays in the cemetery. And he about cleaned it out of groundhogs. And they're happy. One guy watches the cemetery, will stop and he'll say, "Put your dog down there. We got a big one for him." And he'll kill him. Now the little ones he brings home. The big ones he just lets lay there. Yeah.
Believe it or not, a lot of the bear hunters will take Airedales
Well, I guess we'll
also
have to go to another.
with a hound.
Well,
They say that their
Somebody marked over this.
speed and nose.
well,
and stuff
they
makes
can
it-
run because they have a deep chest, but they are half hound.
Okay, this
They were
thing goes
originally
on.
bred
You
with
can
an
look
otter
in
hound,
the
and
bottom
otter
and
hounds
see
are
a
rare, but they're
little hole
still,
in
it's an
here.
ancient breed, but they're still in existence. And then they used a black and tan terrier, which some people think was a big Welsh terrier.
Mm.
But
Twist it.
I know a guy that has an Airedale and he bear hunts with it.
Snap it.
He said the one day they were up on Cheat Mountain and it was really cold. It was like the beginning of last winter, and he said they went back to the house for lunch. He said, and the hounds were all there and they were shivering and shaking. And he said he looked and he thought, now where's Bodie at? And he started looking around.
But that's basically
Bodie was laying in the creek cooling off. So then another guy come up with different hounds, and as soon as they got there, they started to pick at the Airedale, and Bodie kept ignoring him. He said there was about 8 of them.
Out in the dark.
He said, boy, all of a sudden, I guess one got him mad. He turned around, he said within 30 feet, he trimmed them all. He said they were all bit up, and he said after that, none of them bothered him. And he said, well, I've heard this before too, when they get to the tree, when he gets to the tree, the other dogs back off.
He's like the head of the pack.
Because he'll turn around on them. That's his tree, his bear. He ain't gonna share it.
Oh, okay.
I know an old guy, one time I was at a flea market, an old guy come up behind me and said, oh, Airedales, he said, I had them. He said, boy, I had a female, she cost me a lot of money. I said, what do you mean, you spent a lot of money to buy her? He said, no, he said, on vet bills.
Something that the whole reflection.
I said, vet bills. He said, she was so damn dumb, she thought she could take the bear. He said, I don't know how many times I had her ribs fixed. He said, dogs aren't afraid of nothing.
Are yours pretty good guard dogs? I mean, do they guard?
You know what the one is, and I don't like it? She challenges everybody that walks down the road to go to the observatory. The male, he doesn't really care. I don't know what he'd do if they cleaned the house, but
You can't get Janice to come over in the yard?
I've had trouble with Janice.
We couldn't find.
I told your dad that story. He picked up a dog on me one time.
I remember that, yeah.
Thought it was my dog coming and put in my yard.
What, that's the one that bit the little boy or something?
No, that was the one mine. But he, as it turned out, he didn't bite the kid. No, in fact, the one he put in my yard was that man's Airedale that they bear hunt with.
Oh.
So.
Well, you know, that dog biting kid thing, most of the time it's the kids.
He was tied up when this happened. He was on a 3-foot leash. I walked like from here to that wood stove to talk to a woman whose husband just died. And I turned around and there was all this commotion. And nobody witnessed it. But everybody said the dog bit the kid. Well, she had a scrape on her forehead. She was about her size. And so even though he had his shots, they quarantined him for 10 days.
Yeah.
And When my insurance company handled it, they said, you know, we got the doctor's report and the wound was not consistent with a dog bite. He said when a dog bites a kid, there's four teeth marks. He said there was just one scrape. And we went and looked at the spot, and there was real big gravel there. And somebody said the little girl went and hugged him. Well, I think he kind of
knocked her down
and she hit her head.
Well, that one, this little girl was in, she wasn't very big, probably about 2, 3 years old, and was laying on that black dog that's over there. And all of a sudden she reached up and bit the far out of the dog's ear. I mean, bit her. And she turned around and just grabbed her, you know, said, hey, quit. Ernie went to get on to her, and I said, it ain't the dog's fault. The kid's fault. The kid bit the dog.